Good people, we are here. We got it right. Last night we had some issues, but it's all we will be able to get the show rolling tonight because I believe that we need to have a necessary conversation before the playoffs come. So me and Coach is here. Add Coach up here. Coach, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up? How we doing?
Everything good, man. We gotta go back over what we did start talking about last night when we talked about how the last few weeks of the season, the last few weeks of the season have been going great. We have had an offensive explosion of sorts over the last few weeks. Palm Bay. Let me go back and check out what that score was for the Palm Bay game because I felt like we played really well that game.
Yeah, we definitely.
I didn't know what to expect. It was 42-0. I know that a lot of teams do get up for Titusville, so I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that they would attempt to give us their best game,
Yeah.
and I think they have some good football players. I never take anything away from what they have, but they just weren't ready for us yet. I think, yeah, and that's a thing by itself. But they were a good opponent, and we really had we played well. So, what were some things that stuck out to you that week?
Yeah. Hang on one second. Come on. My dog nosed in here. Go. Sorry about that. My dog
Huh.
pushed him in. Anyway, she'll mess me up. Yeah. So Palm Bay. I thought it was a great game for us. That's just the game that we needed at that exact moment in time in the season. Coming through the gauntlet that we ran with some really tough teams and coming up just short. It was good to get out there and let the kids, execute at a high level and build some confidence. And hold
Mm-mm.
on. Anna, put the damn dog up. She keeps nudging into my room. Go.
Mm-mm.
Live TV at my house is challenging. Sorry about that. Yeah, live TV stuff. I got a couple dogs. I got a bird. We got some stuff going on, man. Uh, yeah. So yeah, no, Palm Bay is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Terriers
Right.
just at the right time. And it kind of reassured some of the things that we felt like we were doing good and we did good. And Palm Bay is currently on the uptick. They're not the Palm Bay that we all know and remember
Right.
yet, but I don't think that's too far down the road for them. They
Right.
definitely have some athletes on that field that are going to be a problem. The thing with them is they just got to keep them and keep that group together because they're a very young team.
Definitely.
We still have to go out and you have to execute and you have to play. And that was real good for us getting through Palm Bay. Letting the kids have some success and really shake off any of that negative or down mentality that they may have had.
Right.
We don't hold on to that stuff often or for very long, but it was good to see them shake off anything that they needed to shake off and really hit the ground running. That was good for them.
Right, right. So not only did we play Palm Bay, but then we had the Diesel Halleck second era to
Yeah.
to come
Battle for
about.
the Hudson.
Yeah, the battle for the Hudson.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that game? I I
Going
felt
in.
I want to say this before you go. I felt like you had your foot on the gas and you had no plans to take it off, but I could be wrong. So I'm gonna
No,
listen.
it's a rivalry game. You want to go out and you want to play your best for as long as you can. It's one of those things. Going into that week, Astronaut, I believe, was 5-4 at that time.
Yeah.
Um, um, based on strength of schedule, we knew that they had played some teams that weren't some of
Right.
the caliber teams that we were playing. But we felt like we had a good chance. I still say, they had some guys on that offensive line that that could be a real problem.
Right.
So anytime you're in a rivalry game, anything can happen. And let's face it, they played a good quarter and a half, and we had a couple things not work quite as well as we'd hoped or what have you. It was a pretty good game for about a quarter and a half, and then we found our rhythm, found our stride, and things really got rolling for us right before the half. But no, that's one of those things that you got to win the rivalry game, at least that's the plan. And we feel like we have a pretty good team that particular night. And Will Billingsley played his tail off. Kamari ran the ball great.
Yeah.
Defense played lights out. From the front to the middle to the back. It was a complete game.
Right.
So I felt really good about coming off of that, and we've had some good weeks of practice. But we were going wide open against Astronaut, and we tried to throttle down a little bit. We put up a backup running back in Gio, put him in the game a little late, and he was getting some good runs on some good carries. We got some sets of rules that the quarterbacks and the receivers play by, and typically Will has some authority to change a play call up if he sees what he likes, and he made a nice little change, and he took a shot there for Dion just off the fingertips right at the very end.
Right.
And I said, yeah, all right, just run this daggum thing.
Shout out to Gio getting a chance to run.
Yeah, no, hey, man, we love Gio. Gio is a warrior. He's a tough little guy.
He's definitely. I saw some of the pictures, and he was in there like they were facing the astronaut sideline, and I just couldn't help but laugh. But yeah, shout out to Gio, man.
Yeah, I love Gio. Great kid.
So let's talk about this. We are getting ready to go to the playoffs. We are about to have a rematch with Merritt Island. For those who don't know, we lost to Merritt Island in the season by 3. Very late in the game, led for a good portion of the game, and then it slipped away from us at the end. As we get ready to go into this part of the season, I would like to say, first off, once Coach Holmes left, a lot of people were questioning who Titusville should hire or would hire. I always felt like we needed to get somebody with playoff experience because the job's trajectory changed from when Holmes first came to when he left. Mm-hmm. And so with that, I just didn't think we could go with a coach that didn't have experience in the playoffs. And with that, I was like, nobody else but you. But now we have you here and you go into the playoffs. How does it feel? How are you going to prepare, and how are you going to take it in stride, knowing that you have how the success you had at Coco prior to?
Well, that's a good question. Kind of a couple-part question. The one thing that I preached it to him today, and you hear the coach speak. We got to go 1-0 every week. 1-0. That's the goal, which it really is. Right. But this takes it to another level. This is if you don't go 1-0, you're done.
Right.
So the importance is there. Everybody knows what's at stake. We and when you get into the playoffs, I think something, and obviously I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel that sometimes, and I reminded them tonight, the moment isn't too big for you.
Right.
You deserve to be here. You've been here last year. You won a thriller in overtime last year. You've been, this team has been battle tested. The guys that are returning, you're built for the moment. But that being said, we can't let this moment, because it is a playoff game, get you out of your character or out of who you are, out of what you do. Right. This is a week, kind of like any other, if you will, where you prepare, you plan, you practice, and now it's time to go execute. And let's face it, the end of this game tomorrow night, the team that's going to win will be the team that executed the best.
Right.
Turnovers, explosive plays, special teams, hidden yardage. that kind of thing. We just got to go be who we are. And if you look at the last game, we certainly had some self-inflicted penalties that put us in position that likely would cost us the game.
Right.
And if we can avoid that and avoid, that stuff, the control the controllables, and avoid self-inflicted wounds, if you will. I like our chances as good as anybody, but that's where we got to worry about doing our job and not doing extra and getting yourself in situations where you cost yourself.
Definitely. In the first game, I felt like we did I think that was the start of seeing our offense flow in a way that I haven't seen it flow a little bit. It struggled a little bit in the earlier. I think it's in part to, I feel like Bill Billingsley is very comfortable now. Like he's really comfortable. Like everything just seems to flow because he's comfortable. But
absolutely, you can go back and watch the early film. Watch film from early to watch him in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
the game is slowed down for him. He's it's slowed down. He's got in the rhythm. He's in the system. Everything's making sense to him now, and it's shown up. So we feel pretty good about him.
Definitely. I want to say that I did calculate the numbers, and Connor Sherber did help me with that whole thing. But I think we did it. Me and you did it a little bit differently because they said you might have been adding the negative plays in, and I was just adding the numbers. So it could be a wide range of them, but I do know he exceeded the season total.
Yeah, he's had a great year. He's really had a great year, particularly the back half. Early on, like I said, man, you go back and you watch the early film, and it's a whole different player out there. And not that he started out bad,
right?
But there was rhythm, timing,
right?
Just stuff. The other thing, he was a late arriver.
Right.
His fall camp and early season was essentially spring football.
Right.
And that's tough to do. And I'm proud of how he's continued to get better each and every week, and he's really playing really good football right now.
Definitely. So what are some things that you intend to do differently this time? Is there anything that you feel like, maybe I should have did a little bit more of this, or did a little bit less of this, anything of that nature?
I think it's kind of one of those things. I'm not going to say anything differently.
Yeah.
I feel that, that's kind of one of those things you need to be able to read the progression of the game and how things are flowing.
Right.
I don't want to say necessarily we're going to do things differently, but of course, you always, you try to learn from the previous game and try to find some things that you could do better. And I think we're going to try to do some things better that we didn't do as good last time. And, that's how we feel about it.
Right. Definitely. So a lot of people, especially in the Spaces world, a lot of people will say it's hard to play in the O-Dome. You got to beat the team and you got to beat the refs. And that, that's not slighting or anything. That's just what the reputation has become.
The reputation, for sure.
Yeah. So how do you handle that and get that message to the team? Like, look,
Listen,
I can tell you earlier.
I can tell you this, as a 10-year-old ball boy in 1991, I can remember coaches of that era saying, "You get off the bus down by 14 at Merritt Island." And I think and obviously the penalties were there, but Galley had a couple touchdowns called back, and
right.
So the myth continues, right?
Right.
But no, that's just one of that. That's one of the things that it's not a controllable. You can only control what you can control.
Right.
And we can't think about, or dwell on what we can't control. We prepared for the team that we think we're going to see, based on the recent film, and that's all we can do is we can take care of what we can do and execute. I mean, really, that's what it's going to come down to. Now, You're right, though. That certainly is the myth and the aura. The only other place I've been to where people have claimed that, and I can tell you, there seemed to be a little validity at this one, at least when we went down to Venice.
Right.
If you go down to Venice, boy, look at here.
You gotta beat the refs down there.
Boy, you will lose your religion down there.
Man, so another thing I think that people kind of downplay is this is a new season. Whatever your record was prior to tomorrow no longer matters.
Irrelevant.
It's all about the team that is clicking the best, because I've seen teams make it to the state championship game just because they hit a stride in the middle of the playoffs or during the playoffs. Teams that are healthiest are teams that are successful just because of all the gauntlet of a season that most people have played.
Absolutely.
How much do you think all of that factors into tomorrow's game?
So you're right. You're right. It is a new season, and whatever you've done previous, whether you're undefeated or you're 3-7,
right,
win the playoffs, it does not matter. Actually, I was talking earlier today on the phone before we got to practice. I was talking to Coach Murray, and we were kind of talking about that reset mentality. Nothing previous matters. And I brought up, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right. He's the GOAT for that." But remember, Eli Manning and the Giants, came in the last seed, and, a couple crazy catches off the side of the helmet.
Right.
They find themselves winning the Super Bowl, and everybody wrote them off.
Right.
And I know you have seen too. I think Merritt Island can kind of, I think that was 2021.
Yeah, I think that was 21 season.
2021, that state playoff run they had, there was a little bit of a, I'd say luck of the draw in the seeding and bracketry, how that worked. But they still had to show up. They had to play, and they were healthy, and they got to the big game.
Excuse.
Definitely. And they played a heck of at least a half against an unbelievable Miami Central team. So sometimes that's how it goes. And I can tell you, through my previous 5 years down at Cocoa, we've seen crazy things happen. So, you get teams into the Final Four. Once you get that deep, anything can happen.
Right.
And let's face it, that's a long season. When you're talking to get to the state championship is 15 games of football.
Right.
In most cases, teams at our level, the 3A, they got about 35 to 40 kids on a team.
Right.
That's a long season to go through and stay healthy. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of outside variables that can certainly help predict or that cannot predict who's going to continue on. I mean, I always say he who stays healthiest the longest has the best chance. That's high school football in a nutshell.
That's true.
And even college to an extent. It's not like we're the NFL. We can go. We got a free agent, or we got a guy on the practice squad that's great. We can pull him up. We got what we got.
Right. That's definitely the truth. So, let me ask you this: a lot of people know Tank. Outside of Tank and Bill Billingsley, who are some guys that you expect to step up big tomorrow, and really depending on to just have a big game tomorrow?
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things. You never know who's going to have the big game. Like Alex had a great game against Astronaut.
Yeah.
And not that I wouldn't have predicted it, but it was nice to see that, he had such a good game.
Right.
Hit him on the bend. He had some big runs. He had a really good night. And that's kind of one of the things with the offense. You never know who's going to catch fire that night.
Right.
Dion certainly can, and he's shown flashes, where he has had great games, and then he's had some games where he wasn't targeted, or we had a couple drops, for whatever reason. So you really never know. But I think it would be a safe bet to say Kamari Jackson's going to have more than his fair share of opportunity. Obviously, Tank's going to be Tank. But I look forward to Dion and Alex and Brian Billingsley. and see which one of them, or maybe two, or maybe them all. But if we can get one or two more of them to get hot,
Yeah,
we're going to feed them. And that's
because
kind of how it goes.
from what I'm seeing is if you can kind of count on the Tank touchdowns, you can count on the Kamari Jackson touchdowns. But when any one of those other guys start scoring, along with what you're getting from those guys,
Yeah.
Titusville is a hard team to beat.
I'd say that's fair. I'd say
Yeah.
that's fair because you never know. I mean, sometimes one of them will catch fire, and it's like,
Right.
man, keep feeding them.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's fair. You're going to get Kamari's going to be Kamari.
Right.
Tank's going to be Tank, and one or two of the other three sometimes gets gets a little hot hand going, and I mean, so we're going to put them in positions to have success, and let's see what happens.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the defense. Same question. Who are some guys that you expect to show up big tomorrow for the defense?
You gotta feel good about some of those guys in that defensive front. Big Bill Jefferson, and who else we got? Bookhart, Big Bookhart. You got to feel pretty good about some of them guys with their hand in the dirt.
Yeah.
They've had a great week of practice and they're healthy and feeling good. Obviously Samaj's been having some good games here recently.
Shout out to Samaj.
I love Samaj. And then you always got to look out for DJ. DJ coming down off the back or flying around.
I might add that DJ didn't play last year when this game happened. He was
right.
hurt. Yeah, so
right. You're right. And another one, that he's noteworthy and he's a hell of a specimen is Zymerius. 6'3", 200 pounds, and moves around. I mean, he's one of those guys that he can be a problem. So, I think the keys of the defense is obviously eye discipline. We had some issues with that when we played them the last time, and that's one thing, they do real good. We've been working on all week. Their quarterback, Rappel, does a really good job of extending plays, and they do a really good job of when the play's extended, getting in a scramble drill. And we've worked real hard on not getting lost, staying with the coverage. So, if we can play tough on the back and we feel pretty good about what we got going on up front, hopefully we can play well.
Yeah, I definitely believe that takeaways and sacks will be the name of the game. Just seeing how Egali played them a lot, they did a good job of making sure that they kept everything in front of them defensively, and
sure
so
did.
I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job.
Yeah, definitely. So it's gonna be a good game,
ball
man.
Players on, their defensive front's nice too. Egali.
Yeah.
44. I like him. He's a good player.
Yeah. 44.
I believe he was a Melbourne kid originally.
Okay.
He's a heck of a player. And then they got, I think, 75 maybe.
Yeah.
They got some nasty hands in the dirt over there.
Yeah, they do. But I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm coming. I have made sure that I was there for the first game that you had as a head coach as a home game, and I will be there at the playoff game because I don't know. I just can't. I don't know how it goes. I'm gonna be a little frantic, but I'm gonna be.
Playoff football hits different.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We wish you the best of luck, man.
Appreciate you. Thanks for all you do for the bill.
Yes, sir. So we'll get with you, Coach. Thank you for everything. We'll holler at you. Yes,
all right. Have a great night. Thank you.
Yes. So tomorrow, if you're not busy, I meant to make mention of me having the black hoodie on. Coach usually wears the black forces during the game. It's his sign of being ready for wartime, and I got a little black hoodie on, but nevertheless, if you're not busy tomorrow, there's a couple games in town, but we would love to have you at the Titusville game. Love to see you there. But if you can't make that, Egali plays in town as well as Coco, and I think they'll all be good games. So it's going to be a lot of great football in town tomorrow. So wherever you go, I know BSN will be broadcasting the game as well as Space Coast Daily. So y'all tune in. it's going to be real big tomorrow. I think it'll be a good game. And we'll always have spaces after that. So, Coach Craig, what's up, brother? Hope you having a good one, man. Wish y'all the best of luck tomorrow. So, good luck to everybody in Brevard tomorrow, but a very special good luck to the Terriers tomorrow. So, y'all have a good night.